Hello, welcome to my channel Tech Tejendra. It is my third and the last video on the topic of persistent session management. In my previous two videos, I have shown how we can save session data in the Spring MVC by using JDBC and Redis. But in this video, I will show you how we can save session data in a Spring Boot application. So Spring Boot application is quite simpler rather than Spring MVC, because in Spring MVC you have to write initializer classes either in the Java or by using the XML, but in Spring Boot it is quite easy, and in this you can only need to configure your data sources and other settings by using the application.xml. Okay, that's why it is quite easy. So in this video I will show you that how can we use a Spring Boot application and can store session data in both JDBC and Redis. In my previous videos, I prepared and created two videos. One video I show how to use Spring MVC and save session data in JDBC, and in my second video I show you the Spring MVC application by saving data into the Redis. Okay, so let me move ahead here. Previous video, as I shown you, okay, so yeah, in my previous video I have already described everything, so I will place the URL of my previous videos in the description section. You can go and save there. So that was the agenda. Okay, here I shown you that what is the session for the web application. Mainly we discussed about the HTTP session, and then we discussed why we need the persistent session. Okay, in today's environment, because applications are running in the clustered environment now. Okay, it is now the whole scenario has been changed in the IT industry. Previously we use a one application server and run all the application in one application server. These applications are called the monolithic applications, but now the architecture has been switched to the clustered environment. Now we are developing microservices and running our application in multiple nodes. That's why we need the session persistence. Okay, means the storing the session data in a persistent storage rather than storing the session inside the application server. Okay, then these are the four modules provided by the Spring for session management. One by one we can store session in the RDMS by using the JDBC. Another one is the Redis, that is the in-memory database. Hazelcast is also a in-memory database. We can also store session there. And then MongoDB. Nowadays, NoSQL is gaining very popularity. Okay, so for MongoDB there is also support. Other NoSQL database like Cloudent. Okay, so but currently no support for them. Currently Spring is supporting MongoDB only. Okay, but in the point number one, JDBC, so all kind of RDMS you can use to store either it is Postgres, MySQL, Oracle, DB2, any kind of. Okay, so let's we jump to our demo part here. Let first do one thing. Let we first start our Redis server. Okay, so let me start a Redis server. So this is the command for starting a Redis server. You can see that our Redis server is currently running on the port 6379. So let me also open the CLI of that Redis server. So this is the Redis CLI command here. Now I am inside the Redis server. Let me give the monitor command so that we can see that what is happening over there. So currently we are in monitor mode. So once we will storing session, then you can see that session is being stored. So all in this screen we can see that. Okay, so let me currently minimize it, and then let me show you the code here. Okay, so this is my GitHub account, Tech Tejendra. Here you can find the examples of the code. So we will use this Spring Boot session repository. So let me copy this URL and then let me open my Git. And here I am giving command git clone, and Okay, so it is cloning. Okay, so cloning is complete. So now we will move to our Eclipse. Here, let me import the code into the Eclipse project. Okay, existing Maven project. It is a Maven project. So let me use the existing Maven project, giving the location of my pom.xml. Where it is? It is in desktop tab 1 Spring Boot session and select folder. So I have given the location of my pom.xml and then Phoenix. So it is importing currently. Okay, so this is my Maven project. Let me show you the file structure here. So let me first start with the pom.xml file. By the time it is also importing all the dependencies. Here you can see. Okay, currently 9% importing is done. Okay, so in pom.xml, let me show you the dependencies here. In this example, we will use JDBC and Redis both. Okay, so that's why. So first dependency is the web dependencies of Spring. Okay, then we are having the Thymeleaf. So it is basically it is kind of framework. You can see it HTML framework. Okay, for building the form and other HTML component. And then we have these two. Okay, these two dependency, one is for JDBC, starter JDBC, and another one is for starter Redis. And here these are the important one for this tutorial. These are the for the session management, persistent session management. So first dependency is for Spring Session Core, second one is the Spring Session JDBC, and third one is the Spring Session Data Redis. Okay, so as you know now, either generally either you will either use JDBC or the Redis, but I wanted to show you in example the both. That's why I added dependency for both here. Then for this is one is for the PostgreSQL. Okay, so that is all for dependencies. Let me move to the code here. So first let me show you the application.properties file. So this is a very simple application.properties file. Currently here, this line is important. Okay, Spring Session Store Type. Okay, so generally it is the optional one. Okay, if in pom.xml, if you are having suppose if we are using both JDBC and the Redis, right? If we are either having JDBC or either having Redis, only one. In that case, we need not to provide this line. Okay, but as we are providing Spring Boot with the both the dependency, then explicitly we have to tell Spring Boot that what kind of store type we will use. Okay, so like currently it is JDBC. Let me change it to Redis. So first I will show you how session will store in Redis. So okay, so I have changed it to Redis. Now Spring Boot use all these values. Okay, for the Redis. So host is the local host. It is in my local. Okay, then port we have already given in which Redis is currently running. And if you are if your Redis is in production URL, then it might be having the password and it might be running over the SSL. So these value you also need to be um, provide here. Okay, so let me save this application.properties. And then in Java code there is only two classes. One is the application class and another one is the controller. Okay, so in this controller there is nothing much. Okay, it is just getting the request, and in this request it is saving some data into the HTTP session. Okay, so yeah, like here you can see here that it is getting the session value and then saving value inside the session. Okay, and another method is to destroy. So this another method is just invalidating the invalidating the session. That's it. It is a very simple Java program. Okay, and now let me run the program here. So run as a Java application. It is a Spring Boot application. So it is starting now. It will run on the port 808082. Okay, so here it is starting string. Okay, so our application has started here. So let we go inside the browser and a local host 8082. Okay, so this is our simple application. So let me give some string here, and this string will be stored in session. So I am arbitrarily giving a very long string so that I can show you it inside the Redis. So currently, as you remember that we have set Redis to store the session value. So let me save here. So this message has been saved inside the Redis. So let me go in our Redis CLI and see what is like that. Okay. So here you can see that this RRR, the long string which we have given here, has been saved into the Redis. Okay, so like that the session values will be saved inside the Redis. Now let me also demonstrate if we want to use the JDBC. Okay, here. Okay, so let me stop it first, and then I am going to application properties, and instead of Redis, now I will provide it here JDBC. Okay, and now it will use these values for storing session into the JDBC. Okay, so I am using the Postgres. Okay, so this is I have set up Postgres account in Amazon. Okay, so it will save session value inside my Amazon database, Postgres database. Okay, so let me save application dot properties, and then let me again start application once again. Now instead of Redis, it will start saving data into the JDBC, RDMS, Postgres. Okay, our application has started. Let refresh it. Okay, this value now will give in. Now we go away because now we are using the Postgres and it will not find any previous session value. Okay, because let me also show you the. So it is my Postgres client. So it is using two tables here. One is Spring Session, another is the Spring Session attribute. So Spring Session is the basic information about the session ID, session timeout, everything there. And in Spring Session attribute, for each session, it will store the actual value of the inside the session. Means all the object whatever you are storing into the session, it will be saved inside this Spring Session attribute table. So currently both the tables are empty. Okay, so let me start here. Let me giving some string here. Again, I am giving a long string here. If I click on save, so now it is trying to save information inside the Postgres. Okay, in my Amazon account. So this value has been saved. So let me show you in the table. Let me refresh it. Okay, now you can see the session. So this is the session ID and the value you can also see here. Right, let me show you. Okay, I given the long string here a you can see that this string as a object has been saved inside the session. Okay, so this is the session attribute table, and then this one is the session table. Okay, so sorry, let me open it. This one is the session table. Let me refresh it. Okay, so this session has been, so this is the ID, session ID here, and then the timeout. So this is the interval timeout 600. So this 600 we have given inside our code as a application properties like here. Okay, server servlet session timeout. We have given 600 value here, right? So this 600 value is also saving over here. You can change this value as per your application need. Okay, so that's all guys from my side. Okay, so if you are having any question, you can type your question in your comment box, and then I will try to resolve it.